In 1172, a man named Gaufrid had 3 agonizing teeth pulled from the left side of his jaw. Then he went to supper. A medieval account says he ate white peas, a fat goose with garlic, and drank new ale. The writer blamed the meal for what happened next. But Gaufrid's real problem had probably started long before he sat down. His face began to swell. The swelling spread across his head. His skin stretched tight. His nose seemed to flatten. His eyes sank into the swollen flesh. Then his lips closed and his breathing began to fail. His friends pushed a hollow reed between his lips so he would not suffocate. That is how a rotten tooth could become deadly in medieval England. Not because every cavity killed, most did not. People lived with broken teeth, lost teeth, and aching gums, but no one could see the moment a common toothache became something else. And sometimes the first warning was not more pain, it was relief. Imagine your tooth has been pounding for days. You cannot sleep. You cannot chew. Then one morning the pain suddenly stops. You would think the danger had passed. A medieval sufferer might thank an herb, a prayer, or a saint, but the nerve inside the tooth may simply have died. The alarm was gone. The infection was not. A tooth looks like a hard little stone. Inside, it has a living center and a narrow path running down through the root. Once decay reached that center, infection could travel deeper and collect beneath the tooth. Sometimes it found a way into the mouth. A foul liquid drained through the gum. The pressure fell, and the sufferer felt better. That was the lucky direction. The dangerous direction led beneath the jaw. Swelling there could lift the tongue and begin closing the throat. Now look back at Gaufrid. His friends were not treating a toothache anymore. They were trying to keep a breathing passage open with a piece of reed, and they had no idea what was happening beneath his skin. That uncertainty helps explain one of the strangest beliefs in dental history. Many people believed toothache was caused by a tiny worm living inside the tooth. From their point of view, it made sense. The pain seemed to gnaw. It came and went. A dark hole appeared as if something had eaten its way inside. One remedy used smoke from heated henbane seeds. Picture the scene. A suffering person leans over a small smoking vessel. The healer guides the fumes toward the painful tooth. The pain may dull. Inside the bowl, blackened, curled seeds can look like tiny worms. One historian has suggested that this may have made the treatment feel convincing. The worm appeared to have been smoked out, except there had never been a worm. The pain changed. The infection may not have changed at all, and a toothache did not stay private for long. At supper, the sufferer could not chew the same bread as everyone else. During work, every jolt of a cart or tool could send pain through the jaw. At night, the whole household heard the pacing, groaning, and prayers. A damaged tooth could steal food, sleep, and labor before it ever threatened a life. That is why people tried almost anything. Other remedies did not chase the imaginary worm. They tried to destroy the tooth itself. One recipe called for burned ivy mixed with the sap of petty spurge. The paste was placed inside the cavity to make the tooth loosen and fall out. Then came the warning. Do not let it touch the tooth beside it. That warning tells you exactly how dangerous the mixture was. It was not repairing the damaged tooth. It was strong enough to threaten the healthy ones nearby. This is where the usual story about medieval medicine becomes too simple. People did use charms, prayers, and mistaken ideas. But they also watched what happened. They knew some plants dulled pain. They knew a swollen tooth sometimes needed to drain. They knew that when every other remedy failed, the tooth might have to come out. The problem was reaching someone who could do it well. A wealthy patient in a major town might find a trained surgeon with specialized tools and written instructions. An ordinary villager might have a local healer, a barber surgeon, an experienced tooth drawer, or simply the strongest person willing to try. The patient could see the forceps. What the patient could not see was the operator's skill, and pulling a tooth was not always mindless force. A medieval surgical writer warned the operator not to pull the healthy tooth beside the bad one. He advised loosening the diseased tooth first. If the crown was hollow and fragile, the operator could pack it with cloth before pulling, hoping it would not snap. That detail is easy to understand even today. A broken crown could leave the root buried inside the jaw. So now you are the patient. The herbs have failed. The pain keeps returning. Your cheek is swelling. You can leave the tooth where it is and hope the infection drains, Or you can sit on a wooden stool while someone grips it with forceps and pulls. Neither choice feels safe. Your family may be holding your shoulders. The operator may be telling you to stay. Still, on the table is a bowl for the tooth, the blood, or whatever comes out with it. If the tooth came out completely and the infection drained, the relief could be immediate. But if the crown broke, if the gum tore badly, or if the infection had already moved into the face or neck, the crisis could continue. That is what makes Gaufrid's story so powerful. He had already chosen extraction. 3 painful teeth were gone. Then the swelling became worse. His friends carried him to the shrine of Thomas Becket in Canterbury. The medieval account describes a night of pain, fear, and prayer. Later, the skin on the left side of his throat opened and a large discharge came out. The swelling collapsed. Gaufrid survived. The writer called it a miracle. A modern dental historian saw a likely severe infection and a large abscess finally finding a way to drain. Both readings come from the same human scene: a man struggling for breath, friends trying to keep him alive, a swelling that had to open somewhere. But Gaufrid survived, so his story cannot tell us how often rotten teeth killed. The people who died rarely left stories that detailed. They left teeth. At St. Mary Grace's, a medieval cemetery in London, researchers examined the remains of 190 people. They found that people with cavities and serious gum disease had poorer chances of survival than those without those signs. That does not mean 190 people were killed by tooth infections. A damaged mouth could also belong to someone weakened by poor food, hard living conditions, or other illness. But the finding matters. Bad teeth were not just an ugly inconvenience, they were connected to a body under greater strain. And the bones hide one final surprise. A terrible-looking jaw does not always belong to the person who died fastest. Bone needs time to react. A large damaged area around a tooth can mean the person survived long enough for the jaw to change. A healed, empty socket proves someone lived after losing the tooth. The bigger scar may belong to the survivor. Someone who died quickly might leave only a small mark because the infection moved through soft tissue and the bone had little time to record it. That is why there is no honest medieval death count for rotten teeth. The throat disappeared after burial. The swollen tissue disappeared. A closed airway left no clear message on the skull. What remains are fragments of the danger, a recipe powerful enough to threaten the neighboring tooth, a surgical warning about snapping a rotten crown, a cemetery where diseased mouths were linked with poorer survival, and one man whose friends held a reed between his swollen lips because it was the only opening left for air. A rotten tooth was not automatically a death sentence. It was something more frightening. A common problem with an ending no one could predict. The pain might fade, the tooth might fall out, the abscess might burst, or the swelling might reach the throat first. For Gaufrid, the infection finally found a way out. For someone else, the last thing a rotten tooth took may not have been the tooth. It may have been the next breath.